Do you want to hurt on Kirk Cousins?
Let's talk just a little bit about Kirk Cousins. Because let me throw Kirk Cousins a bouquet, and I want to make sure I get this right.
Okay, well, we're going to bouquet. It's a he love him day?
No.
Of course you love him when he loses on another team when you picked against him.
Kirk Cousins became the fourth.
Right.
I have to work on the enunciation here. We are professional broadcasters, or somebody thinks we are, but not us. Fourth fastest quarterback in NFL history to reach 40,000 passing yards, joining Matthew Stafford, Matt Ryan, and Drew Brees.
I know. I saw that. And Dan Marino was on the list too because they showed it during the game.
Yeah.
Right. My biggest thing I want to say is that's where, that should be your biggest thing. There's a graphic of Kirk Cousins and Dan Marino on it. That should be your biggest telltale sign that the NFL is a passing league now and the rules have changed, okay? Because Kirk Cousins ain't Dan Marino. I can tell you that much. The league is just different now. I mean, again, you see certain games and quarterbacks and whatever. Kirk Cousins has been amazing. I don't want to take that away from him. He's one of the better pocket passers we've seen in football over the last 15 years. There's no doubt about that. But, I'm not ready to induct him into the Hall of Fame because of that either, because I know the league is so different now than what it was, 30 years ago, 20 years ago. But last night, made some big plays as the game went on. We saw that, right? But all in all, I think they had a hard time kind of getting into rhythm and flow for the most of the night. Spagnuolo did a good job of having people around him. It looked like they crowded the line of scrimmage. It looked like they dared Atlanta to throw the ball because they said, wait, we can't stop the run unless we put a lot of people down there. And they gave them what looked like a lot of man-to-man opportunities and whatever else. And that Chiefs defense came through more times than not.
It's funny, that big throw last night to Kyle Pitts.
Right.
I was in the viewing room, and it was right before halftime. You guys were down in the studio, and I think Fred Godelli, Matthew Berry, Damian Dombrowski were in there. And I saw Pitts walk up to the line.
Yeah.
And he's so big.
Right.
And I almost said, I had the thought, I almost said it out loud, why don't they throw it to him on every play? And that was the play. That next play was the play where down to the goal line. I mean, the guy is an incredible weapon, and it's just like this weird story, and there's got to be more to it. It can't just be luck or just happenstance. This guy is incredible. Why aren't they taking more advantage of that skill set?
I mean, he's a good run blocker, not a great run blocker. And I think I would say the same in the pass game. He's got all these combine, numbers and all that, but it doesn't necessarily translate to him running great routes and separating all the time in the pass game. And that's where he's not quite as gifted in that area as the public would like to think him after being that combine freak and everybody talking him in that way. I think there's still nuances in route running, how to lean people, do stuff like that he's not necessarily great at that way. So, yeah, there's some blame there on the Falcons, and, hey, they got to get him indoctrinated into the offense, certainly. But it's what year is it for him? 3 or 4? It's 4,
I think.
So some of it's on him.
Yeah.
It's not all just every offensive coordinator that's been there and every quarterback. He doesn't quite play to his numbers, what we saw in the combine as far as that explosive ability.
You mentioned Bijan Robinson earlier. He got outrushed by Tyler Algier on far fewer carries.
Yeah.
Robinson 16 for 31, 1.9 average. Algier did 7 for 32, 4.6.
Right.
And that last play.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that last play? The run, the sweep to the outside, it never really got started. They're trying to run it behind Jake Matthews. It's one of those that looks great, the X's and O's, but sometimes the X's overwhelm the O's, and that's what happened.
It's a tough one there, and the way the Chiefs play, I mean, first off, the Chiefs are an attacking defense. So in moments like that, they don't sit back and go, whoa, let's play coverage and not mess up. They go, let's get people at the line of scrimmage, get people upfield, and create some chaos and see if they can handle the pressure of the moment. That's what they do. And they kind of overwhelm the Atlanta offensive line kind of throughout the night in a bunch of ways. And, of course, Atlanta had the injuries. That kind of hurt them there, too. But, yeah, I wasn't in love, I would say, with that last play. But I think they're looking at it going, wait, it's hard running up the middle against this crew. Let's see if we can get on the edge and do something that way. But the Chiefs were ready for it. They were ready for a wrinkle off of the inside run or something cute on the edge there and of course, made the play.
We saw Robinson get stoned at the line Monday night by C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Right.
So let's try it to the outside, and that wasn't there either.
Exactly. It's hard to run it up the middle when everybody thinks you're going to run it up the middle.
Here's the problem, too.
Yeah.
When you have a quarterback who is not fleet of foot, it's harder in those moments to keep the ball in his hands and give him an option to run
right,
if there's
right.
nothing
Or
there.
think he can extend the play.
Right.
Like,
Extend
with
the
Kirk
play.
Cousins, you got to go, wait, do we have a great play that we feel totally awesome about, that we know he's going to be able to kind of see it and get it out of his hands? Because, right, he had some plays before that where they blitzed him and put the pressure on him, and he didn't make the appropriate throw. And yes, to your point, there was definitely a few plays last night where his lack of mobility came back to bite him in the butt, where he went, oh my gosh, if he could have just moved there was somebody open, but he gets tripped and has to fall, or he just, the walls cave in and he has to get the ball out of his hand. That's not his MO.
We've
That's not
seen,
what he's great at.
And I'm trying to be charitable and diplomatic and tactful here, but we've seen game on the line moments from him. Other than the time he just let it go wing on a prayer, or wing and a prayer, wing and a prayer to Justin Jefferson on 4th and Forever in Buffalo, we haven't seen that delivery. I think of 4th and 8, and he throws it 3 yards.
Yeah, I hear you.
Jefferson's potentially beating double coverage down the field.
Right.
So,
well, he doesn't have the luxury of guys like Mahomes or Burrow or Josh Allen, where he can go, wait, this is a big moment. Wait, if the first guy's open, I'll put it on him. But if he's not, those guys can go, if he's not, I'll buy time and wait for something better.
And maybe I'll find a crease and just go steal the first down.
And then they have the feel for that too. So there's a double-edged sword that goes along with that. But again, I'm not giving up on Atlanta. I think Atlanta's still a good football team. You've seen the 2 weeks in a row, their defense is a pain in the butt with Raheem Morris and Jimmy Lake as the D coordinator. They do a lot of good things. They're talented in the secondary. They got some big people up front on the D line. Their O-line, their offense is a work in progress. We'll see where it goes. But we know that was a good D they played last night. And they knew, too, like to your point, right, with like when Bijan Robinson's in the game, teams are going, oh, we got to stop the run. Watch out. And that's the advantage the backup running back gets at times, because when he comes in, they go, well, they're probably going to throw it. Let's take a break or whatever else, and kind of a psychological advantage as well.
The good news for the Falcons, if there is any coming out of a loss on Sunday night, both the Buccaneers and the Saints in their division also lost.
Right.
The Panthers
won.
The only team.
They're back in it, baby.
They're back. Oh, I'm hearing from all these Panthers fans thumping their chests. It's like, let's pump your brakes a little bit. You played a team that thought all they had to do was like show up.
Dump a drink on Florio, Panthers fans.
All right. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.